Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber. COVID-19 has affected almost every aspect of our lives, and for some this year, that'll include filing your taxes. KCAU 9 News reporter Mallory Smith has advice from the experts now in our top story at 5.
There are some different things that we are going to include in your return, such as the 2 economic impact payments. There's a spot where we can enter the amount that people received. If people did not receive them for one reason or another, then we can also answer no, and then somehow that should be refunded back to them through their tax return when they file their return.
Susan McGuire says knowing your economic impact payment amount will help make the process go smoother, as well as bringing your W-2 forms to your appointments.
Unemployment is probably one of the things that's going to be one of the biggest changes. Everybody who was on unemployment because of COVID, received the extra $600 a week, and all unemployment benefits are taxable. So hopefully they had taxes withheld from their unemployment, but if they didn't, that will go into as part of their income and be considered taxable income.
As for the self-employed, you have the ability to defer certain taxes, and for those who lost their jobs during the pandemic, there's another set of issues to be aware of. One Siouxlander who is retired says he doesn't think paying taxes this year will be different for him.
It basically is the same as it's always been. I don't look at it any differently. I'm retired, so that probably takes some of the aspects of COVID out of it. So, but I plan on just doing it normal.
But for those retirees who did dip into their savings and retirement funds, they could face tax penalties if they used it for anything other than COVID-related expenses.
People who took a distribution out of the retirement portfolio for COVID-related issues, like they lost their job and they needed it to pay household bills or something like that, if they were not the minimum age to take that withdrawal, they will not be charged the 10% penalty, which they would normally be charged.
If you are a permanent resident of Nebraska but work in Iowa, you will need to file an Iowa non-resident state income tax return this year for your Iowa source of income. You will also need to file a Nebraska resident state tax return. For those who worked from home in South Dakota this year, where there is no state income tax, the way you file will be affected as well. Experts say visit a tax professional if you have questions before the deadline, April 15th. In Sioux City, Mallory Smith, KCAU 9 News.
And relief is on its way to some business owners tonight as the second round of Paycheck Protection Programs kicks off. Applications submitted by community financial institutions, also known as CFIs, can start applying for the forgivable loans this week. The Small Business Association says it will begin accepting applications from all of its lenders, like banks, after this week. Market president with Heritage Bank tonight says the main qualification has since expanded.
If I had second quarter of 2019, I had X amount in revenues, I have to be able to show in 2020 in that same quarter that I had a 25% drop in revenues during that quarter.
And coming up tonight at 6, KCAU 9's Lydia Vasquez explains what you need to know if you plan on applying for this new PPP loan. And Sioux City Police tonight are asking for your help in a murder case. So far, only the victim has been identified. Police say the body of Pastor Daniel Hardin was found on December 1st. This is a picture of him on your screen right now. Hardin was at an apartment on the 2600 block of Douglas Street in Sioux City. In December, we reported the case was officially declared a homicide following the autopsy. Now, tips can be made by calling Crime Stoppers at the number there on your screen. That's 712-258-TIPS or 8477. A cash reward is available for tips that lead to an arrest. And it's time tonight for our first check on the weather. Meteorologist Marcus Beasley standing by. Marcus, parts of Siouxland today felt like springtime with temperatures into the 40s, as you mentioned.
That's right, Sophie. I heard some birds outside chirping, and I wonder if they were confused since it was so warm today and we had plenty of sunshine throughout the area. Temperatures warming up into the upper 40s for a lot of us today. 48 in Sioux City, Lamarge, Yankton, as well as Storm Lake and Spencer. 48 for a high in Norfolk today. That's 18 degrees above the normal high temperature, so well above normal today all throughout Siouxland. Even some lower 50s there in Denison and Carroll at an even 50 degrees today. Overnight tonight, temperatures, they will drop down into the mid-20s. So again, another cold night, but it's going to be above average. Normal low temperatures this time of year are around 10 degrees. So we're going to be around 15 degrees or so above that even tonight. It looks like more warmth tomorrow, but a cool down with a chance of precipitation by the end of the week. Details in the 9 on 9. Sophie?
All right, thanks, Marcus. South Dakota Governor Christine Noem today giving her annual State of the State address. In it, she reflected on some of the hardships and successes the state has seen over the past year with coronavirus. One success is a rise in home sales.
New home construction in South Dakota is more than 1.5 times greater than the national average. And over the past 10 months, construction employment in South Dakota is up 10% over a year ago.
Noem adding that small South Dakota cities are seeing an influx of people moving to them. There, they enjoy a lower cost of living and end up spending their money right there in their local community. Let's take a look now at the latest COVID-19 numbers reported here today in Siouxland. Woodbury County health officials reporting 22 new cases in 24 hours, but on the bright side, 84 new recoveries were reported today as well. The positivity rate dropping slightly to 15.5%. In Nebraska, Dakota County not yet releasing an update for the day. The county last reported a positivity rate of roughly 11%. And in South Dakota, Lincoln County reports 20 new cases. The positivity rate there stands at nearly 10%. Federal officials are now asking states to distribute the COVID-19 vaccine more quickly. Their suggestion for doing so is to not back the second dose of the 2-dose shot, but instead to use them first as first doses for more people. It's a suggestion that Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts was asked about implementing today.
Again, we will evaluate whatever advice comes back from the federal government, but I will tell you what we're going to follow is the manufacturer's recommendations to make sure we have people who have both a first dose and a second dose.
Now in Nebraska, nearly 2,000 vaccine doses were administered on Sunday alone. The state administered an average of 5,800 doses each day last week. Well, in his final days in office, President Donald Trump is heading to the Lone Star State. There, he's taking a final look at his top campaign promise from 4 years ago, the border wall. Our Washington correspondent Anna Warnicki reports.
President Donald Trump is back in Texas one last time as commander-in-chief.
We've worked long and hard to get this done. They said it couldn't be done, and we got it done.
The president thanked Border Patrol and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for bringing his 2016 campaign promise to life.
All of the work we did in designing the wall, we got it exactly as you wanted it. Everything, including your protective plate on top.
Alamo, Texas is the site of the 450th mile of the border wall.
This is a significant milestone.
Acting CBP Commissioner Mark Morgan says the president promised a border wall and he delivered.
We said by December 31st, we were going to have 450 miles of steel and concrete in the ground. I woke up December 31st and I was provided a brief saying we had accomplished that.
Morgan calls President Trump's trip to Texas a celebration, but lawmakers back in Washington express concern about its timing.
That should be a very, very low priority.
North Carolina Democratic Congressman David Price says the president should be focused on uniting Americans after provoking rioters to storm the Capitol last Wednesday.
For him to do a victory lap, so to speak, about that wall is I guess it's a fitting conclusion to this presidency.
Regardless of what transpired last week, those tragic events, whether that happened or not, we still would have been doing this.
Morgan says the president's trip was planned before Wednesday's riot. In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki, KCAU 9 News.
Facebook and Instagram making a controversial move. They are removing Stop the Steal content. Company executives cite the same reasons as Twitter does, hoping to quell misinformation leading up to the presidential inauguration. 4 days ago, the company indefinitely banned President Trump from its platforms. Many people claim that these big tech companies are committing First Amendment violations. However, the amendment solely deals with the government's role in suppressing public expression.
What the First Amendment does not prohibit is private businesses from making their own rules.
If you do not like the policies of one social media platform, you're allowed to go to use another one.
And for many conservatives, Parler has become a safe haven, but Apple, Google, and Amazon Web Services have since pulled the social media app from their stores and the cloud. In return, Parler is now suing Amazon, claiming it's violating antitrust laws. New installments of Siouxland Stories are coming your way soon. This week, in fact, they air every Thursday on KCAU 9 News at both 5 and again at 10. Also on Fridays at midday. Now, if you know someone with a unique story, we'd like for you to share it with us. Email us at news@kcautv.com so the rest of Siouxland can hear their stories. Farm shows can be a fun way to teach people about agriculture, but they often are hands-on. How one farm show is making the best of things virtually this year, coming up.
And it's looking like we did have a very pleasant day, but it is looking like more nice weather tomorrow. We are going to have a cool down with a wintry mix ahead by the end of the week. Details on all of that after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Sophie Erber and meteorologist Marcus Beasley. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Welcome back, everyone. Taking a look at the almanac for today. 21 degrees was our low temperature this morning. Again, above average. 10 is our normal low temperature. 48 was where we topped out today for our high temperature. 30 degrees is the normal high temperature for this time of year. So again, temperatures starting out above normal and staying above normal throughout the day today. And we are going to continue to see warmer temperatures at least for tomorrow. It does look like, though, we are going to see a bit of a cool down as we head into Thursday and Friday of this week. The view outside from the KCAU 9 studio brought to you by the Port Neal Welding Company, showing that we are seeing some clouds out there. But again, another beautiful sunset here throughout Siouxland, and those clouds helping make it look a little bit nicer. Temperatures outside, they're in the low to mid 40s for a lot of us. 40 degrees in Sioux City, 45 in Lamars and Yankton. Wayne, a little bit cooler at 39 degrees. 40, it's not going to last too long.
And really, that cool down will only bring us where we should be this time of year.
Right, that's right.
All right, thanks a lot, Marcus. Well, a new exhibit is open now at the Public Museum, reminding us of the old saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. The traveling exhibit, known as Lines with Power and Purpose, features 51 editorial cartoons from the first half of the 20th century. If you'd like, you could find the full story. It's posted on our website right now, SiouxlandProud.com, or the free KCAU 9 News app. Many homeowners know the importance of having a smoke detector working, but there's one other type of detector offering essential protection. It's one reason a family says they're alive today. We'll explain why coming up. But first, organizers of a virtual farm show working hard to spread their message, but the online format forces them to get creative. How they're doing it, next. This week on Siouxland Stories, I'll be talking with Bill Bass, whose creative thinking not only helped him lead a successful ad agency for decades, but also guided him in some very artistic hobbies. Siouxland Stories, Thursday on KCAU 9 News. A farm show in Pennsylvania going virtual this year, like many things, but organizers say they can still achieve the goal of teaching people about area farmers. Priscilla Ligori shows us how.
It's very important for us to keep communicating with our consumers.
This is the 26th farm show Dave Smith of the Pennsylvania Dairymen's Association has worked on. And with the event being all online, he and his team had to get creative. The new Milkshakes on the Move truck is making stops across the mid-state, bringing people their favorite farm show milkshakes. The association is a nonprofit, so all of the money raised goes to youth interested in carrying on their family's traditions in agriculture.
Heavily involved in next generation development through scholarships and internships and developmental programs.
Another goal of the show is supporting PA products, a message important to farmers like Stacy Copenhaver, who owns Talview Dairy in South Annville Township.
In order to get PA preferred milk, you can look for the sticker on milk products that has the PA preferred, or also the code 42.
The Cabin Corner usually draws thousands of people to the farm show complex. This year, it's being live streamed all day Tuesday. The project manager hopes to catch some cool live bursts on cam.
The Bollinger family will be going live from their farm, Meadow Spring Farm in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, every hour, and showing things behind the scenes, what's going on in the farm, how they take care of their cows and their calves.
The association and the Cabin Corner are teaming up with the Whitaker Center to organize hands-on activities families can do from the comfort of their own homes.
There are a lot of common household materials they have at home.
It's a way to teach people about dairy and showcase the science and technology used in modern agriculture. That's a longtime mission of the show. Farmers are thankful is still being fulfilled online.
It is just a wonderful way to showcase all the wonderful things in the industry.
Well, carbon monoxide is a silent killer, but fortunately, just a small investment can warn you when it's inside your home. The story of a family who was saved by theirs just hours after installing it, next. A Michigan family is alive and well after a close call with a silent killer. The family was alerted to a carbon monoxide leak just hours after a monitor detection system was installed inside their home. Joe LaFergie says that they're sharing their story to hopefully save others.
Ray and Carla De La Cruz started a new chapter in their lives last week, moving into their own home. And they decided to have home monitoring company ADT install a system. Now, a company offers an optional service Ray wasn't familiar with, carbon monoxide detection.
I don't know, something told me to go with the carbon monoxide.
Early the next morning, when Ray and Carla and their 3 boys, ages 3, 7, and 1, were asleep, the alarm went off. Now remember, this was early in the morning in a brand new house. The alarm was a bit confusing.
I was like, what's going on? What's going on? What's this? What is it? What does CO mean on the little script panel?
Hi, my carbon monoxide alarm is going off.
After missing the first call from ADT, Carla called them back.
You need to leave the premises. The carbon monoxide alarm is a serious thing. You can't smell it. You can't taste it. You just need to leave until the fire department gets there.
The alarm center operator also alerted Wyoming firefighters who were on the way. What they found when they arrived had the potential of turning a cautionary tale into a tragic story. The home's furnace had malfunctioned, spewing dangerous levels of odorless carbon monoxide into the home.
They told us that we're lucky to get out.
According to the National Carbon Monoxide Awareness Association, CO poisoning is blamed for some 1,200 deaths and 50,000 ER visits every year. And that's just the reported cases. With the emphasis on smoke detectors over the years, carbon monoxide detectors are sometimes the forgotten extra element of home safety.
Smoke detector's been kind of embedded in everybody's mind, throughout, but don't forget that CO detector. That's just as important.
Let's take a live look outside right now. Marcus returns with one more check on our forecast coming up next, so don't go away. Before we wrap up here at 5, let's check in first with Tim for what's coming up at 6. Hi, Tim.
Hey, good afternoon, Sophie. Coming up at 6 today, our Lydia Vasquez reports on the second wave of those coronavirus relief checks, how that emergency funding is helping a Siouxland business navigate during these difficult times. She has that story, again, coming up in about a half an hour. Also, as the pandemic rages on, more people are left to question what the future holds. It's something workers at a crisis center here are talking about. We'll check in on that as well. And alcohol use and alcohol use disorder can be very difficult to recover from. Alcohol withdrawal can be a grueling and life-threatening process. We'll share what therapists are saying about that today as well. That's all coming up right after World News Tonight right here.
All right, thanks so much, Tim. And one more check on our weather. Another beautiful day on tap for tomorrow.
That's right. Tonight it will be chilly in the 20s, but not too bad. 26 degrees and partly cloudy tonight. And then again tomorrow, another warm day. 50 degrees tomorrow for your high temperature. I think we will see a few more clouds out there tomorrow compared to today. But overall, I think we will still see several peaks of sunshine. A great day expected tomorrow, and then a bit of a cool down Thursday and Friday. Maybe a little bit of rain on Thursday, a few flurries Friday, but nothing to really worry about.
Thanks, Marcus, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6. Good night.